From Las Vegas, live at Lamar Theater, podcast starring actor Jean-Claude Lamar, producer Eurika.
Welcome to another episode of Live at Lamar Theater. My name is Jean-Claude Lamar.
And I'm Eurika Prats.
And that's right. Listen, guys, we're going to jump right into it. It's been a minute. I mean, literally, it's been a couple of weeks. Am I right?
I think it's been a little longer than that.
Okay, a couple of months. But we bring you everything in the entertainment scene in Las Vegas and outside of Las Vegas, specifically black entertainment. And today,
there's a lot going on.
before we get into just sort of general news, can we talk a little bit about what's been going on here at the theater?
Yeah, we've been making some changes, some positive changes. I know we expanded Black Magic Live to 5 days a week now.
Oh, okay.
Versus the 4 that it used to be.
Okay, Black Magic Live, by the way, is our male review show, very popular TV show, movies, a huge show for us.
Yes.
What else?
And Black Girl Magic is doing great. We have a couple of new girls on the team.
Black Girl Magic is sort of the sister counterpart to Black Magic Live. It's a burlesque show, lots of fun.
Yeah.
And both those shows are, by the way, very tastefully. As a matter of fact, can we put up a little montage like right now of each show? Okay, so this is just a small clip of Black Magic Live. So that was Black Magic Live, and for those of you who may not have seen the show or the movie, it's a great show. Now, and it's very thematic. It's got all these different themes and tributes and stuff. Now, let's throw up a small clip of Black Girl Magic. All right, here we go. Yes, that's the experience, guys. Woo, woo.
So fun.
Now, let me just take a little sip and cool myself down.
Wow. Well then.
So, Eureka.
Yes.
How have you been?
I have been great.
You look great.
Oh, thank
you. You look refreshed. You look like you look okay.
I'll take it.
I like the outfit.
Thank you.
You're glittering and doing all that.
It's Vegas.
Okay, wonderful. Well, let's jump right into it.
I like your jacket. This is a new one. I like this.
Oh, my sister got this for me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, my sister,
Liz?
Liz. I have a twin sister. My sister got this for me for Christmas, actually, and
I love the fabric. I love this silver. Like that's the kind of shiny I like.
This is if we want to be specific, this is shimmer.
Shimmer. That's the kind of shimmer that I like.
This is shimmer, very different from sparkly.
Yes.
You guys have seen me in sparkly. This is shimmer. Okay, it's demure.
This is very mindful.
It's mindful. It's not too flashy like the rest of you hosts.
That was really good.
Thank you very much.
That was very good.
I try to keep up with the young kids are doing these days. Okay, so P. Diddy.
Oh. Right into it.
I'm not even going to waste any time, guys. P. Diddy. I know P. Diddy. I've met him several times. Eureka, you've met him once or twice. We've spoken about him before on this show. I want to get into it. I want to unpack what's going on legally, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. First of all, here's my first. Now, for those of you who may not were living under a rock, P. Diddy was arrested.
He is currently in jail.
And for multiple racketeering charges, sex trafficking, extortion, and a litany of other things.
Is it murder for Tupac on there as well?
I don't think that's one of the charges. At least that has not been revealed. Okay. Now, having said that, this is a year-long probe. It's a federal indictment. Okay, so it's not a state charge, it's a federal charge. And there are a lot of different ways, Eureka, to look at this. A lot of different ways to look at it. Okay. Now, first of all, P. Diddy has been a stable part of black culture for a very long time.
I mean, I was completely heartbroken.
Yeah.
P. Diddy was someone that I looked up to.
Yeah.
I mean, if just from where he came from to what he's built, his family and all of that, is just things that I aspire to. To find out all these other things that were looming in the shadows.
Yeah.
Is disturbing.
So let's talk about the shadows. Let's talk about the shadows, because the shadows are not always black. The shadows sometimes are gray.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I mean by that is he is being charged. So let's talk about the sex trafficking. So he's a celebrity with a lot of money, a lot of influence. He decides he's going to have parties at his mansion. They're termed freak-offs. Is that the term they use?
Yeah.
Freak-offs, right? So these parties that they're having at the mansion. Now, it is not uncommon, if you got a lot of money and you're a celebrity and you're having a party and there happens to
on
be...
that level.
On that level. Happens, and by the way...
I've heard tons of stories about tons of people.
Yeah, and it's not like your 10-year-old birthday party.
Yeah.
It's not like your birthday party.
Right.
It's a party with drugs, with sex, with prostitutes,
Yeah.
male and female, and a lot of baby oil.
And a lot of baby oil.
You know what?
I don't get the baby oil thing. I don't get it. All I know
oil?
is that it makes you slippery and okay, I get it.
Yes.
But it's like there's a lot of chemicals. It's not even good for like
It's
your
not
pH or anything.
But, I mean, listen. It could be used for massaging. It could be used for moisturizing. It could also be used for lubricant. Now, that's not advisable.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're in the heat of passion and there's coke around and drugs, you're likely to throw some baby oil in some crevices somewhere.
Yeah, if that's all you've got, he has a stock.
I think it was like 1,000 bottles
Yeah.
of lubricant and baby oil.
That's weird.
Okay. It's okay. So let's get back.
Odd.
Let's get back to gray area. Okay. So you know you have these parties, and so what you do is there's all these women who are, and you see them on Instagram all day long.
Okay.
Who are available.
Oh yeah. There's no shortage on that.
For leisure, you
Yeah.
give them a couple of bucks, fly them in, and they're willing to have sex with different people at the party.
Yes.
And not necessarily, I mean, we term them prostitutes, but they're not, these are people who
they get paid.
Who work at the dentist's office or who work at the
Listen,
medical
if you're getting
lab.
paid or there's some sort of exchange outside of mutual consensual intercourse, I mean, it's prostitution.
It is prostitution,
Yeah.
but in the entertainment industry, it's a gray area. Okay, I got flued in. Okay, and
But in LA, they don't even need to get flued in. They're there.
they're there. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, if you want some exotic babe who happens to live in Trinidad,
Yeah.
you fly her in, and you put her up at a 5-star, in the mansion, and she's got the
Wait, you
driver.
stayed at the mansion?
I don't know, but I'm just assuming if you got
Yeah, I
a
would
mansion,
assume
you're
that,
flying
yeah.
girls in, you've got a room,
Yeah.
For them in the mansion. I mean, yeah, or a hotel, but whatever it is, it's posh. It's posh. It's nice. It's demure.
I don't know
It's
about
tasteful.
demure.
It's not like the rest of. It's not like the rest of you prostitutes. Okay? You low end prostitutes. This one's demure. Okay. But they fly these girls in, and the girls are like sort of.
Yeah.
They're.
I'll tell you this. I do know. I've heard stories. I mean, I grew up in LA. I was in the film industry, and so we have model friends and Instagram friends, and one of the stories that I heard, there are a few of them that are actually on a roster, so they're perfect. Like they're like almost contracted.
Okay.
To whenever he calls, whenever he's going on a trip, so and so is going.
Got it.
And she is getting paid, and her rent is paid, her bills are paid, so that she's always on call. And now I know it's for freak-offs. I thought she was getting free trips.
Okay.
I thought
You
she
know
was
this
going on
person?
I know of a couple that I've heard of.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, and I always thought they were just nice girls. I didn't know. I still don't know technically, but
Yeah. So. Okay.
there was a lot more going on. There's a lot.
Hey,
no wonder their skin was so smooth.
Hey, let's
it's a lot of baby.
Let me tell you something. Be careful before you get subpoenaed. Okay.
Oh, no. First of all,
okay?
no one told me anything about Diddy parties. All I knew was...
just generally.
All I've heard is generally like, hey, there's a party going on in Turks and Caicos.
Allegedly. Okay.
These girls are flown out to have fun.
Okay.
That's all I was told.
Okay,
There's a big party and they get invited to the party.
Got it. I just want to make sure it's not your circle of friends because the feds now.
I don't know anything about sex. I don't know anything about sex trafficking. I just thought they were having fun at the parties. They got to enjoy the perks of.
Got it. Yeah. Nothing's free, folks. Nothing's free, folks.
I thought they were arm candy.
Yeah, well, that's kind
of how it's presented as everyone's arm candy.
Yeah. But what happens with candy? Candy gets consumed.
Wow, that is true. That's true.
So anyway, back to the point. So gray area. So these people have flown in. They're at the party. He invites all his celebrity friends. His celebrity friends show up, and then around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, there is another party.
That's what I've heard.
That party, goes into another room where now it's like Caligula, in sort of the Roman.
This has been happening for centuries.
No, it's happened forever.
Except you didn't have to sign an NDA back then.
Right. Your head was just chopped off, so or you were a eunuch. Your penis was chopped off. That's your, you know what I mean? So basically, P. Diddy, Puffy, would sponsor these parties. Allegedly. Now, when you invite a woman or a man to come work in exchange for sexual favors at your party, and then you compensate them in some way, that is a legal exchange. And that
it's an illegal exchange.
Well, no. It's legally binding in terms of.
Got it. They have now a contract.
They have a contract.
Yeah,
they have a legal
they have an agreement.
Although that agreement is illegal.
Correct.
Right. So she then, or he, expects payment after the deed, after the party. Because you're crossing state lines, that is considered, for sexual favors.
That's trafficking.
That is considered trafficking.
Oh, so the local stuff is not trafficking?
That would not be considered sex trafficking.
Oh, I thought it still was the same thing.
No, not on a federal level. On the federal level, it's crossing state lines.
Got it.
That is considered sex trafficking. And then of course there are state charges which have little nuances too. I'm not a legal guy. I'm just telling you what is currently in the indictment. Okay. And so that's one. The other real major charge is that he allegedly coerce these people, certain people, into activities.
Yes, that is the part that I have the main issue.
Yeah, i.e. Cassie and a couple of other people, and
coercing as far as there's videotape, possibly blackmail, drugs, so that they're more vulnerable to do things that they probably would not have done sober.
Correct. And so with the drugs, with the sex,
that's why if I didn't make my drink and I'm not at a bar, no, thank you.
Yes, Diddy also had a penchant of recording a lot of his activities.
So they say, allegedly.
And so he would have these tapes. His entire house, I would imagine, was equipped with cameras, and that's causing him a lot of trouble now.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's actual physical evidence of these quote-unquote freak-offs.
Good Lord.
Okay. Also in the indictment is supposedly he's been reaching out to people in advance of the feds, trying to get them to sort of not talk.
Okay.
He'll give them money, or he'll whatever.
Now, because he's not on trial yet, that's not considered witness tampering, is it?
It is considered witness tampering.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Even if he's ahead of the.
Yeah, it's an active indictment. They're investigating. What they do is during an investigation, before the feds charge you, there's a year-long or 2-year-long investigation. That investigation.
And that person is aware that they're being investigated.
Your lawyers are contacted. This indictment did not come out of the blue.
So when they raided his home, did he know that this was possibly coming?
150%. I mean, they didn't let him know they're going to raid it.
Okay.
But he knew he was being investigated.
Huh.
And so during the investigation, the feds or the authorities or the DA actually, or the Attorney General actually interviews witnesses.
Okay.
And so they interview Diddy,
Okay.
they interview his sons, they interview, so you know you're being investigated.
So who's to say that he didn't get rid of all those things early on? He's got to be smarter than, well, maybe not. But I would think that he might be a little smarter to be like, hey, listen, all this might come to bite me in the butt. Let me get rid of some of this stuff.
Yeah, that's not the way the feds investigate you. The way the feds investigate you is they say, hey, so we hear that
Right, because then no one would get
you're
busted.
depositing,
So he-
hundreds of thousands of dollars into your bank account.
So he may think they're investigating money laundering.
That's exactly right. So you're focused on that, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like, "Oh yeah," and the sex trafficking.
About
yeah,
that.
Yeah, about that.
We
'Cause,
heard about that too.
When they meet with you, they're not going to show their hand. They're not going to let you know what they're investigating.
Makes sense.
They're just going to investigate and then surprise you. So if you're ever anyone out there being investigated for anything, just know that what's at face value is not what you're being investigated. I mean, there may be that and additional charges, more
So
serious
behave,
charges.
everyone.
Be on
Behave.
your best behavior. No freak offs.
Yeah.
So,
No illegal freak offs.
yeah. So this is the lay of the land.
Yeah.
This is what Diddy's looking at.
Whew,
Okay.
that's a
now,
lot.
Now, why I say in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, this is a gray area, is because almost everyone does this.
They're all hooking up with each other.
I mean, everyone does this.
and across the industry. It's not just music and rappers. It's huge A-list Hollywood
and I'm going to
stars.
say something, and again, this is not. I'm not trying to disparage Drake, but that's all Drake does.
He's
He
hooked
flies women in
and
to,
hooks up with them.
to Canada. He lives in
Oh.
Canada.
He does?
Yeah, he does.
I don't know where
Yeah,
Drake
he has a
lives.
home. His home is in Canada.
Oh, okay.
He has a home up.
So the big house that everyone's always talking about is in Canada?
It's in Canada.
Oh,
He
I
has a
thought it was
home
in LA.
He has a Canada. He has a home in LA, a mansion in LA too, but he lives in Canada.
Okay.
And so flying girls out all the time.
Yeah.
And he's a rock star.
Yeah.
That's what
but
you do.
He may be covering it with, he dates them for like a week or two.
Yeah.
And while they're dating, that's when they get all the perks.
The perks, they get the
purses
bags,
and
they get the women call. Whenever there's an exchange for sexual favors, that is considered
Yeah.
a contract. It's
Yeah.
it's a sexual, it's
I would think so,
prostitution
yeah.
in some way, shape, or form, unless of course that's your girlfriend
Yeah.
or your wife or significant other, then that's different. But generally speaking, these rock stars, these rappers,
happening every day.
happens every day.
Every
And
day.
so he wasn't doing anything atypical. The drugs, not atypical. They all do it.
So it must have been the fact that he was actually flying out known sex workers. He wasn't flying out the girl that he thought was cute on Instagram. This is a known sex worker, like that's their profession.
Well, again, that is a gray area. These people don't walk around and go, I'm a prostitute, here's my page, here, reach out to my pimp. But no, these are people.
Well, there was a story where they were saying in Cassie's lawsuit that they would search a website or some sort of site or something and pick the sex worker out.
Then that's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's different.
So
That's
that means
different.
I would, if there's a site, you're a known sex worker.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Cassie's lawsuit,
Yeah.
but certainly the
settled.
feds. Yeah. So again, very gray area. Here is where I have a little issue, and I know I'm going to catch some flack for this, and it's fine.
I'm interested
It's
to
okay.
hear.
It's fine. He is being denied bail. Now I got to tell you, Bill Cosby, I think R. Kelly, Epstein certainly, during their investigation and post-arrest,
Oh, Epstein was out on bail?
they all were issued bail.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, now I'm okay. Then I'm with you.
They all were issued bail.
I didn't know.
And unlike Diddy,
didn't
some
pay
of them
attention.
didn't even have, young teen twins and
Yeah.
and young.
Yeah, and he's
a
not
family.
and he's not being accused of underage people.
No.
Yeah.
And he willingly said he'd give his passport. I mean, he does have a private plane, but he said he would put that up. They can hold on to that. He was putting up all 50 million.
And they incurred, and
as
I
bond.
think his attorney worked out something where he was able to turn himself in just to show.
He would turn himself in.
Yeah.
And by the way, up to this point, he was incredibly cooperative.
Yeah, he stayed local.
He was very cooperative.
Yeah.
And,
In fact, when they arrested him, I think he was just randomly in New York.
yeah, and also added to his list of what he would do is his attorney said, in addition to all those things, the passport, the bond, 50 million in bond, he would also he would have no female visitors,
Oh.
and would also agree to
Well,
home.
according to the suit, it might not matter.
He would also, yeah, right. He would also willingly accept home confinement,
Okay.
wear an ankle monitor. I mean,
So he basically threw himself at the mercy of the courts.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So being denied bail seems to me
It seems a little
bit
discriminatory,
extreme.
yeah.
Because
No one else?
because that way, look, he's certainly, in my opinion, going to serve some time. But at least you get to close some things out.
Yeah.
You get to talk to your family. You get
Yeah.
to prep them. You get to.
So this might be a little personal. There might be.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you're that powerful, you've probably, there are people out there that just.
I mean, because Epstein had a lot too, and they let him. I mean, he had a lot of stuff on a lot of people, and they let him have bail. So why not Diddy?
My thought on Epstein is that although he was, there's something about people that have influence and people that have money.
Okay.
Influence to me, and I mean cultural influence. Diddy is a cultural staple. I could use the word icon in the rap hip hop
Definitely.
industry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, if you're the feds, that influence you want to take off the streets.
Got
you
it.
want to isolate him while you are conducting this
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
You want him away from anything he can touch.
Got it.
Because his reach is.
Yeah. I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a Tupac thing and hiring and you could.
And he's been able to sort of fly under the radar all this time.
For so long,
Yeah.
so you
He's
want-
clearly smarter than we
Yeah,
know.
so you want to, and keep in mind, when you're a powerful and influential person, you also have powerful, influential people around you.
Good point.
So you might start finding.
You want to cut the life. The
Hey,
support
listen,
off.
man, not to say it will happen, but you want to start. You might. He's like, they're going to treat him like they would the mob.
Got it.
They're treating him like he's John Gotti.
Wow.
Because John Gotti, when he finally got nabbed, it was no bail. And his influence.
Ooh, there's so much we don't know.
His influence is curtailed, and
It's
you
going to
keep
be
him.
huge trial.
Yeah, this is appropriate. But getting back to this sort of issue of no bail, I think the feds, as I just explained, have their rationale. They have their reason for this.
Clearly.
I feel that it is a little extreme.
We just don't know all the ins and outs.
Again, speaking just for a face value, what I've seen.
It seems extreme.
It seems a little extreme. But again, he hasn't waived his right to a speedy trial, so it's going to move fairly quickly, unless he pleads out.
Okay.
But I think he pled not guilty.
Oh,
On all the charges, so the counts. So it's definitely going to go to trial. Whether or not Cassie,
They said she's supposedly a witness.
she's going to be a witness, according to.
They're going to call her in. There's nothing you can do.
Yes.
I mean, it's the feds.
Yeah. So this leads me down a little rabbit hole.
Oh.
Can we talk about Dawn Richard's lawsuit? So for those of you that don't know, Cassie settled for $30 million. She was going to put a tell-all book out. Her attorney contacted Diddy and said, hey, look, we're going to put this book out. And if you want to buy the rights, it's called Catch and Kill. You grab the book, you pay us $30 million, We give it to you. You got the rights. You can kill it, never release it, do what you want. He declined. She then filed a civil lawsuit, which was going to expose him. It's like 80 pages, and he said,
That was
"Fine,
huge.
I'll buy the book."
That was huge.
So the 30 million, Cassie's bone. She's good. Then
Financially, that is.
Financially. Then out of nowhere, Dawn Richard, who we know,
I think hers is actually Richards. Dawn Richards.
Dawn Richards,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who we know really well. I guess the last name I wasn't quite. So Dawn was the lead in our movie Kinky. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a really good movie. And I think it's playing now on, is it on Tubi now?
I think
it's on-
Is it Tubi or Netflix?
Netflix
One
or
of those
Tubi, it's
two.
on one of them. But it's a
I
good
know it's on
ca-
Stars and.
Yeah, it's called Kinky. Okay, good movie. It's kind of like the Black 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah,
So in any
it's one
event,
of my favorites.
when I cast Dawn in the movie, I wanted a chocolate sister to lead the cast. I
Yes.
thought we needed that. And I got to know her pretty well. I mean, as well as you can know talent
time frame.
working with them over several weeks on end. You know, we worked very closely together. And my impression of Dawn, and I think I've made this clear to you,
We've talked about this.
is I personally, and this is my own personal opinion, I didn't like her very much. I didn't like her very much because I thought that there was something always underneath the
Yes,
surface.
there's like a darkness there.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's a heavy energy.
It's a heavy energy, and and I've worked with tons of stars. Everyone from Whitney Houston to Kim to whomever. I mean, female
Yeah, I haven't heard you say
stars
that about
to
anyone
me.
else.
I generally, even with their little quirks, and they all have quirks, I found Dawn to be a little.
You were very uncomfortable around.
Yes,
her. You were
yes.
very
There's something
uncomfortable.
about her that felt
Yeah.
like so. And this is why I'm bringing it up. So my first meeting with Dawn after I cast her in the movie, I went to meet with her to sit down and kind of go over the character. So we met at a restaurant, I think in West Hollywood, and we sat down to talk.
I think we were at the Four Seasons.
No, that was the second time I met with
Oh,
her.
okay.
No, that was the first time.
That was the first
Yes,
time.
that's right.
We learned a lot about her
Yes,
there.
yes. I met the first time that we met to discuss the character.
Oh, this was the Italian restaurant across from Gower. Was it Gower Studio?
It
No,
was
it's not Gower Studios. It's the other studio.
The other studio, right?
Yeah.
Paramount or
It's
something
one
like
of those.
that. Yeah.
We had an office over there.
So we met to sit down and talk about the character. And as we were talking and kind of getting, she revealed to me that she was very familiar with the S&M lifestyle because that was one that she had publicly adopted and was in.
I do remember that
A
conversation.
long-standing relationship where she was a submissive and he was a dominant, and it was very. So I was excited as a director because it was like, oh wow,
You got experience, you
You're
can
going to
bring that
bring
to the
all
character.
of that, and she was kind of telling me things that
We didn't know, yeah.
I was like, wow, this is going to be pretty cool. As we segued out of that and started talking about, I asked her about Diddy because I knew she was also part of
Danity Kane.
Danity Kane.
And also Dirty Money.
Dirty Money. And I asked her about it. I said, what's your experience like? I mean,
Yeah.
that must have been so fascinating to be, you went from this and Diddy, you guys, I think the album was called Last Tango in Paris or whatever it was.
Last Train to Paris.
Last Train to Paris.
Yeah, I remember that.
And her response to me, now this was 2018?
This is 2017.
2017.
Yeah, 17.
She said to me, hey,
So this is post all of that.
this is
Yeah.
fairly recent.
Yeah.
She said, hey, oh my God, I loved him. We had a great time. Diddy was great. It was a
Yeah.
great working experience. And I guess
She became a great writer because of all the writing she had to do.
I
and,
mean,
while he was stalling, working with her.
I mean, literally, her entire position was
It sounded
was a
positive.
great positive experience. So I was shocked.
But I did tell you, I was like, I'm not buying it. I mean, I just didn't buy it because she
What
just
do you
didn't.
mean?
Whenever you would mention that energy that you were uncomfortable about, I always said, I think it stems from those making the band days. I always said that. I was like, it stems from that because it was giving, I've experienced something and it's kind of dimmed my light a little bit, or the light in my eye. Like like she experienced something dark. And that's what she was giving. She always gave that, if I had to feel darkness, you're going to have to feel it. That's what I always got from her. Never got open, happy, embraceful, or just happy to be there. It was almost like, no, this cannot be all glitz and glam and fun. No, because that's not what I got. So that's not what you're going to get.
Interesting.
That's kind of what I got.
Yeah. Which is interesting because we know another gentleman, Willie Taylor, from Making the Band.
Completely different, opposite energy.
One of the nicest, funnest guys. Yeah. You could, I mean, he was.
But then again, Willie's always minding his business, so I could see him bypassing all of that. Kind of like, oh, what? That was happening? I didn't even know.
Such a talented musician.
And has always been married with kids, so that would have helped.
Yeah. So their experiences seemingly were very different based on the energy they brought. But my point is, I was so surprised to see her lawsuit claiming all of these things.
Yeah, because it didn't.
When that's not what she expressed, at least publicly.
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm not.
Which makes sense. Maybe, and keep in mind, I think that she didn't express those things. One, if those things are true in her lawsuit, this was still at the time an untouchable man. You're not going to. Who knows what.
Yeah, but hold on. Hold on. But then Aubrey, is that her name?
Well, yeah,
Aubrey. What's her name?
Aubrey O'Day.
Aubrey O'Day. She came out.
She's been.
She was also part of.
But that's also. But also, I mean, listen. Let's keep it a buck. I mean, she doesn't have the same fears, and she has female fears. She's a woman, but she doesn't have the same fears that a black woman would have. She's a lot more free. And what she would say, she doesn't have the same traumas and needs of feeling that I have to stay quiet or else my life is over.
But
she's always been outspoken.
But Dawn, post Dirty Money, post Danity Kane,
would still work with Diddy till this day if none of this came out. She would work with him again. That's what makes it weird. She would absolutely take an opportunity. She would never turn him down.
Which is funny because there are text messages as of last year where her and Diddy are exchanging text messages where she says, hey, you're such an amazing person, I need to work with you.
Where did you see this?
Oh, this was the Sun actually posted it on his page.
As in defense of his dad.
As defense of his dad.
Yeah, that's the vibe I get. And that's why it's where, no, she would absolutely work with him. And my thing is like Aubrey O'Day, she stands on what she says. She would never. Even Cassie, when she left, got married, that dude in her mind, could fall off a cliff and she wouldn't care.
You got it.
How can you claim all of these different things? Not to say that's not true.
Right.
But it just makes you want, like, how do you talk out of two sides of your mouth? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'll say, it's like me saying you're a monster, but then you call me tomorrow and you're like, hey, I got a movie, Eureka, what do you want? I'm like, yeah, sure, oh my God, Jean-Claude is great.
Right.
And then 2 years later, I'm like, Jean-Claude was a monster.
A monster, right. So, look.
It just raises questions.
It does raise questions.
And I would hope that it's not, I would hope that she's not making it up. Because, this is things that women have to deal with and not being believed and.
Yeah, but listen, there's a part of it that feels very much like a cash grab.
Oh, it's very much like a cash grab. You're not testifying to put him away. You want money.
Yeah. So there's a part of that I feel. Now, the problem now with her case is that Diddy, who just sold his mansion, by the way, in LA, so that because he's
got a lot of fees to pay.
Legal bills are piling up for him.
Those are not federal charges. Those are not cheap cases.
They're not cheap, and so. What they find now is that he is, because he's incarcerated, because he's going to go through this, his willingness to settle in fear of back, you know what I mean? That fear doesn't exist anymore. He's been arrested, so you can't even shake him down.
Like I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the feds.
Right, you can't shake him down now because...
And you probably have to wait till all that's over. And if he gets off or something happens, it might not work in her favor, depending on,
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be a payday in her future based on what we're seeing right now. Despite the weakness in the allegations, the case itself, I don't think Diddy's attorneys or Diddy are going to be that willing.
Got it. She's going to have to go through. You're going to have to go to court and present your cases because there was a lot of, I saw this happen, I saw this happen, I saw that happen.
Right.
You
mean in her fighting?
Her fighting. I don't know if she's got some evidence.
Right.
Then good for her. If not, Cassie had some evidence there. Cassie had a lot of evidence, I'm sure.
Cassie knew where all the skeletons
and had the influence to be believed.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. Okay, so again, this is going to be a multi-parter for us because we're just not going to. I mean, this case is going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. Now, we're not even talking about. Look, there is rumors right now that Jay-Z.
It's a lot going on. I mean, what's up with all the CEOs stepping down?
Listen, Jay-Z is potentially going to be a subpoenaed witness unless he cooperates with the feds. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic to keep an eye on. What Jay-Z?
By the way, Jay-Z
and Diddy were like this. They're like mogul friends that you're a billionaire today. I am today. No, you're a billionaire. I am. That's how they move. Okay, he's at every party. He's at every brunch they have. They're close. So,
but maybe he's not at the freak-offs. Maybe he's just at the daytime and he leaves by midnight.
No, it's quite. No, I'm not even suggesting he's at the freak-offs. I mean, I don't know, but what I'm suggesting is that he's going.
But just to be involved,
he's going to be.
They're
going to start subpoenaing
everybody,
everyone that is close in his orbit, in Diddy's orbit, his sphere of influence. All those guys and gals are going to be called to testify.
My biggest
he's
beef,
a big fish.
My biggest beef with Diddy is the Kim Porter situation, more so than the Cassie. The Kim Porter,
now, I don't know if I told you this. Kim Porter and I were good friends.
I'm well aware.
And Kim,
you always say everyone says the
she
same
was the
thing,
sweetest
like the
person
lady.
ever. But there was always this thing bubbling underneath, where you always felt like she was living in fear. I always felt that, like
she always has to go. She's got limited time.
But also, we delivered food together, so I don't know how much she had time.
Okay.
But almost kind of like I got to watch my surroundings so that I could. I mean, she always,
And you probably just always summed it up to she's around big names, wants to make sure she's not in any compromising situations.
Yeah. But it was always strange. It was always strange. I always felt that energy from her. Sweetest person you'll ever meet.
I hear everyone I've met that knows her.
Incredibly nice. Incredibly nice.
Thing. Yeah.
So anyway, this is going to get more and more, and we're in the entertainment industry, so this is something that
all up in the business.
We're 6 degrees separated from every single person. Harvey Weinstein. I had a movie, and then this guy. I knew this guy I visit. Harvey and I. It's so funny. I don't know if I ever told you. Like the first time I met Harvey Weinstein, I was in an elevator.
I know you never told me this.
Going to my agent's office, and he walks in with his brother.
Was he always fat?
Always fat. Always fat. And kind of scruffy. You know what I mean? And I said hello to him, and I wanted to pitch him a movie right there in the elevator, and I thought probably not the best.
Leave it to you.
Yeah, probably. Me,
hey, I got a movie, bro. Leonardo DiCaprio coming out of a nightclub.
Yeah. Leo was like,
sir,
my man. And then, but here's the cool thing.
I'm having fun.
He actually said, ride with us, man.
Yeah,
Come
you
on.
can tell me about it later.
Yeah, so we went to his mansion. We went to his mansion.
I was born too late.
Hold on, we went to his mansion, okay, Leo's mansion, and
Now, you never, when you tell me the story, you never mentioned like a bunch of models or anything being around. You said it was just a couple of guys from the club.
It was Leo, 2 girls, a Vincent Loresca, who is a friend of mine, but his best friend, the Latino kid you always see with him.
Yeah.
That's his best friend. And then there were like 2 guys, his entourage, 2 or 3 guys.
Okay.
But it was such a huge mansion. I was like, I walked in.
Literally, it was actually like a low key, sort of intimate, just friends hanging out.
We were at a club, and he had a movie out called The Island, and I know him. You know, I said what's up to Vincent, and then I saw him standing there talking to some girls. I walked up to him and I said, "Yo, dog." He looked over to me. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" I said, "Hey, man, you know that movie that you did?" I said, "That movie sucked, bro."
Oh my God!
I said, but
why would you say that?
I said, "But I got a movie for you, though."
Oh, but I got something better.
He looked at me like, "Who?" I said, "No. Let me."
Just because of your ball, you can go just your ball. You can't
let me keep it 100. Let me just tell you what I mean. I don't mean you sucked in the movie. I said the movie sucked. I said, but let me tell you something. Here's what we can do. But he was like, and then I don't know what happened, but a couple of minutes later they're leaving, and he's like, "Yo, tell him to come with us."
Yeah, you can go around. Oh, nice.
Let's go. I can tell you
by the way, those situations don't happen anymore.
Yeah. Those days
Thanks, Mom.
are over in Las Vegas, in Los Angeles. Those days are gone. So we're going to continue unpacking the Diddy on the next episode. I'm sure more things will come out.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I gotta read these text messages though that the son put out. I gotta read those.
The text messages were crazy.
And they're only a year or so old.
Yeah, they're like a year or 2 old. Yeah. So it's kind of weird.
I want, if we'll pick this up again, like you said, but I just want, girls and boys, women and men, nothing is worth your integrity. I don't care where you want to get in your career, how much money you want to, it will bite you in the butt. It will stick with you unless you're just cold-hearted, and then do whatever you want. But don't compromise yourself. It's not worth it.
But let me also say this, and I think context matters. Context matters. The stuff Diddy was doing, allegedly, the stuff Harvey Weinstein was doing, not allegedly, was doing, was par for the course.
Yeah.
That's what everybody, Jamie Foxx, Jamie Foxx had some of the most craziest parties.
But the rumors I've heard is that he would announce it and everyone was allowed to make an adult decision.
What do you mean?
I don't think, I've never heard.
Jamie Foxx?
I've heard stories about Jamie Foxx, and I've never heard stories about him roofing people, putting things in their drinks so that everyone's on the same vibe. I've always heard the stories that I've heard.
At 2 o'clock in the morning.
He says, "Hey, this is what the next hour is about to be. Are you down? If not, see you later. But our party is about to be a different kind of party."
Next level.
I mean, you give people the choice, and you let them sit with their thoughts like, I guess I can live with myself tomorrow if I do this, or no, I can't. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's par of the course, I think.
Yeah.
But blackmailing me into something or making me feel like I have to do this or I'll never be able to work again, not cool.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Yeah. All right, guys, until the next episode of Live at Lamar Theater here in Las Vegas, I'm Jean-Claude Lamar.
I'm Eurika Pratt.
And we will see you again real soon to talk some more Hollywood shenanigans.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you for tuning in.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates.